Samhita Shri Vishakanitamscha Namo Vishnupada. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpade Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Jay Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Ramami Haripre Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Santu Pivecha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtai Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namne Namaste Saste Devi Gauravani Charni निर्वशेष शून्यवादी पश्चात देश तारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरवृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे.
Thank you, Vishwajit. Thank you so much for reciting the Mangalacharan. So, do you all remember what we discussed last week? Last week, we discussed a lot of stories, right? We started Krishna Leela, right? So, what were some of the Krishna Leelas we discussed last week? Does anyone remember?
We discussed about how Vasudeva brings Krishna from Mathura to Vrindavan and how little Krishna killed Putana,
Good.
Katasura and Pranavarta.
Very good. Okay. Now, what happened is last week we did go through the details, right, of the cart demon, and the cart demon was called. What was the cart demon's name?
Shakatasura.
Shakatasura, correct. Okay, and we also went through the past life of Putana. Who was Putana in her past life?
She was Bali Maharaj's sister.
Correct. Can anyone recall the name? What was her name?
Ratnamala.
Very good, Riyansh. Very good. So her name was Ratnamala. Okay, and she was the sister of Bali Maharaj, and we know that she had a motherly love, okay, towards Krishna. But later on, after whatever she, Vaman Dev, he stamped, Bali Maharaj to the Patala, right, to Sutala Loka. So she got angry and she was like, I want, like, if he was my son, I would have killed him, okay. So that's why Putana was given this avatara, so that she will get liberated, right. So she was given the position of a what? Of a mother, right. So now we'll go a bit into the details about the appearance of the cart demon. Okay, so now what happens? Krishna is around 3 months old. Okay, he's just 3 months and he is just crawling. He's in this stage of, he's not even crawling, he's just 3 months old. Okay, so they start this ceremony. What is the ceremony called? It's a like, as soon as they're born, this is a ceremony conducted. What is the ceremony called? It's called Uttana, okay, which means the rising ceremony. Okay, and it is also known as Nandotsav. We discussed, right, last week. What is Nandotsav? The bathing ceremony of Lord Shri Krishna. Okay, and that is also the day of who? There's another significance for this Nandotsav day. What is it? I think last class towards the end we discussed. It is also the appearance day of who?
Lord Krishna.
Lord Krishna, Nandotsav, the day after Janmashtami was the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada, right? We all discussed. All of you remember? Okay, yes. Now what? Yeah, correct. So it was the appearance day of Srila Prabhupada. So now what happens is Yashoda Mai decorates Krishna and she puts him in the cradle and this bathing ceremony will go on. Okay, now what happens is in meanwhile, a demon named Utkacha. Okay, Utkacha had appeared. Now who is this Utkacha? Utkacha is actually the name of this Shakatasura. Okay, so he is a demon with no body. Okay, so he's just like air. Okay, this body, he's like invincible. Okay, we can't see him. So what happens? This demon was sent by whom? Who was this demon sent by? Kamsa, correct. Yeah, he was one of the demons Kamsa had, and Kamsa sent this Shakatasura, whose name was actually Utkacha. Okay, so we will see that story also. Now, what happens? This Shaktasura, okay, because he's he's invisible, he enters into this cart, okay, where they're going to place Krishna soon. So this cart, it was filled with a lot of vessels and everything, okay. But as soon as this demon enters into the cart, what happens is the cart becomes heavy. Okay, and it starts sinking into the soil, right? So this is noticed. See, because the cart is supposed to be on the land, right? Because of the weight of this demon, imagine how heavy the demon is. Okay, the cart started sinking. Now, what happened? They placed Krishna, and just for a moment, okay, Yashoda Mai wanted to grab all the brahmanas to come and wish, Krishna. So she just went for a second. Okay. Now, what happens in the meanwhile? First, Shakatasura wanted to drop the cart on Krishna. Okay, but now that the cart has become heavy, he thought, why don't I crash? But before that thought even appears, what happens is Krishna, with his small lotus feet, okay, he just kicks the cart. And instantly the cart breaks into pieces. They say that the cart breaks into pieces. Okay, very, very small, minute pieces. And hearing this, big sound, everyone in and around, the place will come and see, what has happened, what is going on, and everything. And then they see a small Krishna lying next to the cart. Okay. And actually, all of this is seen by the other kids, okay, other children who are playing. So when the gopis and the gopas asked what happened, the kids pointed at Krishna and they said, Krishna did it. Like, they were all small kids. They were like, Krishna with his feet, okay, he kicked the cart, and the cart, it just fell off and it broke into pieces. So saying so, what happened was, no one believes, right? If a child says something, will anyone believe? No. So because they will be like, how can a small 3-year-old boy kick a cart, and how can the cart break into pieces? So this will not happen. So saying so, everyone will actually ignore what the small the small kids have told, and they will go on, trying to chant and everything, because they're very scared that, such a big demon has attacked Krishna, and just now Putana has attacked, and now we can see this Shakatasura come and attack. Now we will know a bit about Shakatasura's past life. Okay, who was he? So in previous life, he was a demon named Utkacha. Okay, what is the demon's name? Utkacha. Okay. Utkacha. So now what happens is, one day this demon, actually he is the son of Hiranyaksha. All of you know who Hiranyaksha is?
Brother of Hiranyakashipu.
Very good. Yeah, brother of Hiranyakashipu. So his son was Utkacha. Okay. So what happens, once he went to the ashrama of a Muni called Lompas. Okay, he went to the ashramam, the hermitage of Lompas, and over there, what happens? While he was walking, he kind of like, he broke some trees and everything in a rage of anger. Now this Muni, because they used to chant under the trees, they used to meditate under these trees, the Muni got very angry and he cursed that you will become bodiless, right? So you will have like, you will be like invisible, right? No one can see you. Now this demon starts pleading, okay, and then the Muni will consider, okay, because you are so knowledgeable, okay, this demon was so knowledgeable that he got the knowledge from Lord Brahma. Okay, he learned so many lessons from Brahma. He'll be like, in this particular manvantra, okay, in Vaivasvata manvantra, you will be delivered by Lord Vishnu. Okay, which manvantra? Vaivasvatra manvantra, right? So every Manu rules, okay, for a certain amount of time. Okay, so the cycle keeps changing, right? How many Manus are there in total? Does anyone know? 17 Manus are there, right? Yes, Riyansh, how many Manus are there?
Mataji 14 Manu.
Correct, yeah, actually, yeah, 14 Manus, correct, no? And this is a cycle, right? It keeps repeating and repeating, right? Every time a thing gets over, a new Manu comes and he takes over, right? So over here, the sage says that, so in this Vaivasvatara Manu time, Lord Vishnu will be there, so in the form of Krishna, and he will deliver you. So hence, this is the backstory of Shakatasura. And what was his name in the previous life?
Utkacha.
Utkacha. And he was the son of?
Utkacha. Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyaksha. And who cursed him? Who cursed the Utkacha? Lompas Muni, right? You have to remember, okay? Yes. Lompas Muni cursed. Okay, so we'll go on to the next one. So next is, we talk about the naming ceremony of Lord Sri Krishna. So now what happens over here is, now Krishna is supposed to get a name, right? Now how can God get a name? Tell me. Who is qualified enough to give Krishna a name? Okay, so now what happens is Vasudev, who is the actual father, okay, of Krishna, is very scared because now Kamsa has been sending demons everywhere, and they are in the search of the eighth son of Devaki. So he thought if the naming ceremony happens, then Krishna will eventually become a target. Okay, so now what we have to do is we have to try to keep this naming ceremony very intimate, okay, just inside the family. So what happens? He calls Gargamuni. Who does he call? He calls Gargamuni. Okay, he calls Gargamuni, and then he asks Gargamuni. Gargamuni is actually the priest of the Yadu clan. Okay, of Yadu dynasty, the whole dynasty where Vasudev belongs. He calls Gargamuni and he says, "Can you go and conduct the naming, ceremony for both my sons? Who are two sons of Vasudev who live with Nanda? Krishna and
Balaram.
Balaram, correct. Okay, so why don't you please go?" So on the request of Vasudev, Gargamuni also agrees and he goes to name both Balaram and Krishna. So at this point, they didn't have the names yet. So as soon as Gargamuni comes to the house of Nanda Maharaj, he doesn't know because actually till 10 months, till 100 days, not 10 months, sorry, till 100 days, the naming ceremony doesn't happen. Okay, only after 100 days, the naming ceremony takes place for the kids. But what happened over here, Nanda Maharaj, he didn't expect the Muni had come to name the children, but he has just thought it's a casual encounter. So he welcomes Garga Muni with, he washes the hand and everything. He washes the legs, and with all the, paraphernalia, he tries to worship. Okay. And after everything is done, Garga Muni will say that actually my purpose is not to come here or rest or to preach anything, but I've come here to name both of your kids who are so auspicious. Okay. But then Nanda Maharaj will be like, you've come over here. So like we will have a nice ceremony. But immediately what happened, Garga Muni, he'll refuse. He will be like, I cannot conduct this ceremony. The reason is that this Kamsa, he will become more suspicious, okay, if we conduct this ceremony. And as you are best friend of Vasudev, okay, he will immediately think that Krishna is the eighth son because Durga Devi had come as a girl, so he will not believe. So it will become a big thing, and Krishna will get into trouble. So after saying all this, what happens is Garga Muni will insist this to who Nanda Maharaj. 1 second.
What it is not able to hear. What are they not able to hear?
Sorry, can you hear me now?
Yes,
Hello?
Mataji.
Sorry, Hare Krishna. My internet was a problem. So now what happens? Garga Muni will put this condition forward, okay, saying that we cannot conduct this ceremony in this way, because now Kamsa will come and kill the babies. He'll send some kind of demons. Now Nanda Maharaj will suggest an idea that only Rohini Mata and Yashoda Mata in the cow herd, the place where they used to keep all the cows, we will conduct the ceremony over there without anyone knowing. So Gargamuni, he'll happily agree with this idea. So what happens? Yashoda might decorate Krishna and Balaram beautifully, and they bring both the kids, okay, and they will conduct the Namakarna ceremony. Okay. Now what happens? First, Gargamuni will point out at the elder brother Balaram, and he'll be like, you will bring the greatest happiness to this family, right? So you will be called Rama. Okay, but you also will possess a lot of strength. So you will be called Bala. Bala means strength, right? So if you add up, it is Balaram. Okay, so hence Balaram will get this name. He'll also get another name because he is residing in the house of Nanda, but he is the son of Vasudev, right? So he'll also get the name called Sankarshana. Okay, so what are the two names given to the elder son? First is Balaram and Sankarshana. Very good. Okay. So now what happens after this? Gargamuni moves on to the younger child, who is Krishna. And he says, as soon as he sees Krishna, okay, he's seeing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? So he sees and he says, this boy has taken birth in every yuga after yuga, okay? And he will always take his birth. So in the previous 3 yugas, he came in 3 colors. Remember, we discussed about these 3 colors. Does anyone remember what are the colors he comes in? In 3 yugas, he comes in 3 different colors, right? What was the color? First, in Treta Yuga, he comes in the color of?
Green.
In green. Okay, but what about the Satya Yuga? 3 colors. First is white, actually. Okay. The second one is red. And then yellow. Okay. And then he comes as black. Okay. So this is the final color he is in. Okay. We've discussed this in the, I think in a class where we were speaking about the different kinds of avatars, right? So then under this it comes, okay. So in the Yuga avatars, the 4, okay, they appear in 4 colors, okay, which is white, red, yellow, and what color is Krishna?
Bluish black.
Bluish black. Very good. A lot of people say black. Okay, no, it is actually bluish black. Okay, he's very dark bluish black. So now what happens after saying all this? Gargamuni will be like, as this Krishna is bluish black, okay, with such a complexion, we'll call him Krishna. Krishna means all attractive. Okay, so this person will attract everything. So hence, he also says that this child is as good as Narayana in qualities. So you have to take care of this child very well. And also, it is very important because he'll have multiple names, he'll have multiple fames and everything, and there'll be a lot of trouble, but he'll bring a lot of joy to Vrija. Okay. So saying so, Gargamuni happily leaves. Now a small activity for all of you. Okay. Can all of you name at least 2 or 3 names of Krishna, 2 or 3, not...
Mataji Madhusudana.
Madhusudana, good.
Mataji
Govinda.
Madhav. Mataji Madhav.
Very good. Madhav, Venu. Next.
Mataji
One second. We'll go by order. Okay. Yes, Vishan and Vrija. Or
Mataji.
Yes, who was it? Yeah,
Mataji.
Madhav. Yes.
Madhav.
Madhav is a good thing. Good. Vishwajit, what about you?
Govinda.
Mukunda, good. And any other names you remember? Govinda. Govinda, correct. Govinda. And then?
Madhusudana.
Yeah, very good. Madhusudana, Damodara. Okay. And then what about with the mother's name? Like Yashomati Nandana, Nanda. All of this we have, right? Vasudev. So all of these are some of the names. Okay. So now a quick recap. Okay. So the card demon was known as?
Shakatasara.
Yes, good. And in his previous birth, he was? Very good. And the demon, like who was the father of him?
Hiranyaksha.
Hiranyaksha, good. And who was the Muni who cursed the demon?
Lompus Muni.
Lompus Muni, very good. At what and how old was Krishna in this Leela?
3 months.
He was 3 months. Very good. Now, after how many days does the naming ceremony take place?
100 days.
After 100 days. Very good. Okay. And what was the name of what were the two names given to the first son, Rohini's son?
Balarama, Sankar.
And Sankarshana. Very good. And why was he given the name Balarama?
Because he is strong and he will be the most happiest member.
Yeah, so he'll keep everyone very happy. Okay, very good. Okay, and then Krishna was given the name Krishna because
He will be very attractive.
he's very attractive. And he is in which color?
Blue. Black.
Blue.
Dark bluish black, right?
Yes.
Yes, all clear. Let us move on to the next stories. So now we will be listening to small stories. Okay, these are stories of Krishna when he was crawling. Okay, so now Krishna, he was in cradle, right? Now he's about 6 months old or something, and he starts crawling. You all know, right? All babies crawl, right? So in this pastime, what happens is when Krishna was crawling, okay, he saw a huge lion statue at the entrance of his house. Okay, so as soon as he saw this lion statue, okay, he became very afraid, okay, because he's such a small child, right? And he saw such a big statue. So he became very afraid and he started running, started crawling even faster to Mother Yashoda, okay. And by seeing all this, the gopis were very satisfied because Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead, right? He knows everything. But at the same time, when he does Brija Leelas, okay, when he does all of his pastimes in Brija, all of this is forgotten. Okay, even him being personality of Godhead is forgotten. Okay, all he does is he just enjoys Brija pastime as a son. Okay, and like son to just not Yashoda Mai, but to all the gopis over there. So he gives all this pleasure to them. Okay, now we listen to another pastime. Okay, now Krishna is over here and he's crawling, and then he sees this muddy place. Okay, and then what happens? They used to do anklets. Okay, they used to have anklets to children. So the anklets make noise. Okay, because they wanted to see if a child is moving and everything. So what happens? Krishna, he wears these anklets and he starts moving. Okay, and he goes into a mud pit, and then he crawls in that and he comes out, and all the gopis are churning butter. So and Krishna comes out full mud bathed. Okay, like full from top to bottom, he's filled with mud. Yashoda Mai sees and takes him, and she'll be like complaining, okay, I've decorated you so beautifully. Okay, now see how you have turned out. You know, you're all muddy and everything. So now what happens? Nanda Maharaj had a brother. Does anyone know what is the name of the brother?
Upananda.
Upananda. Okay, good. So Upananda had a wife. Okay. And the wife also used to take Krishna, and she was also one of the gopis. Okay, do you know who was the prime gopi of Gokul? Who was the prime gopi?
Radharani.
Yeah, but this time it is not yet, no. But who was the prime, who's in charge of Gokul? Who was like the main lady of Gokul? Radharani is amongst the gopis. Correct, Yashoda Mai. Okay, so after Yashoda Mai, Rohini Mata and Upananda's wife, okay, they took the next positions. Okay, so they were highly respected gopis. Okay, so all the other gopis were of the fellow cowherd clan. Okay, so which Varnashrama Dharma does Nanda Maharaj come under? Like who was he? Like example, Vasudeva was a Kshatriya, right?
Vaishya.
So what does this community do? What does the Vaishya community do back in those days?
They used to sell things.
They used to sell things. Good. Anything else?
They used to take care of cattle.
Yeah. Okay. The first thing is they used to take care of what? The
Trade.
Correct. So
Should be
trade. Correct. So they used to do trade. Okay. And second thing is they were in charge of the cows and everything. Okay, so these two are the main business. So the trade, they used to trade the cow products. Okay, and also some part of harvest. Okay, example in Govardhan, they used to make the cows gaze and everything. And what are some of the products that come out of cows? Can anyone name?
Milk.
Good. Butter, milk. Anything else?
Curd.
Curd, good. Anything else?
Ghee.
Ghee, yeah, correct. So
Yogurt.
many things. Yogurt, yeah, and also
Chas.
yeah, correct. And we also make sweets, right? Out of this milk, right? Like we make kova and all of these, and even like what is favorite sweet of Krishna? Makkan, right? That's why we call him Makkan Chor, right? So all of these products used to be traded in the market. Okay, so like this, Nanda Maharaj made a livelihood. Okay, and he was the head. He was the head of all of this cows and all of this business. Okay, so going forward now, Krishna became a little older. Krishna and Balram became a little older. Okay, so what happened? They used to crawl, and go, and they used to catch the tails of the calves. Okay, you know what calf is, right? The cow's baby, right? So used to catch the tail of this calf. What happens? The calf used to get scared, right? So the calf used to pull Krishna and Balaram throughout Gokul, okay, and they used to get muddy and everything. Over here, Krishna will grasp the cow even more tighter, okay, the tail, because he's afraid that he's going to fall. So like this one day, Krishna starts speaking, okay, and the gopis will come to Krishna and ask, so who are these people? Okay, they'll point out, okay, who are your mother and father? So, and then Krishna will say Mata and Pita, okay, instead of saying Yashoda and Nanda. So over here we see how respectful Krishna is, right? So we live in an age, okay, where if we see in foreign countries, okay, people call their mother or father with their names, okay, whatever their name is. But Krishna over here, he's teaching us that we always have to, address our elders respectfully, right? We should always respect them, saying like, whatever in the local language. Over here, he says in Sanskrit saying Mata and Pita, but we can always call in our own local languages, okay, whatever we feel like. So now there's another story. Okay, now this story we already heard last week, but we'll go a bit into elaboration. Okay, so what happens? All of us know the Trinavarta demon, right? So now the Trinavarta demon Leela starts. Now what happened? Krishna was 1 year old during this Leela. One day Yashoda Mai will be playing with Krishna, and suddenly Krishna will start increasing weight. Okay, he starts increasing weight so drastically that from a size of very light, he becomes as heavy as a mountain. And Yashoda Amma, she will feel concerned. She'll be like, why is my child so heavy as a mountain? I think some kind of, a ghost has gotten into him. So I'm going to call the Brahmin. So she leaves the child for just few minutes so that she can go and call the Brahmins, to chant mantras. But what happens? Trinavarta catches this opportunity, okay, and he comes as what? Trinavarta comes as what? What kind of demon was Trinavarta? Like
Tornado.
Tornado means a world. What is it called? A whirlwind. Okay, he was a wind demon. Okay, so he could turn into a tornado. So now what happens is over here, Krishna wanted to have a ride, right? For example, when parents used to lift the child, okay, Yashoda Mai used to lift the child, the child only went to certain extent, okay, and not more than that. But now Krishna wanted to go even higher. He was like, I just don't want to stay in Vrija's land, okay. I want to experience like Vrindavan's sky also. So I want to go and touch the clouds and everything. No, Yashoda Mai cannot take me. So without Krishna's desire, no demon will enter into Vrindavan. So like this, what happens? Trinavarta had come to fulfill the wish of Krishna. Trinavarta carries Krishna up, okay, so up, okay. He'll go so high into the sky, okay. And what happens? This tornado was so heavy, okay, that it caused a whole dust around Vrindavan. No one could see anything around. And Yashoda Mai is trying to search for Krishna and she couldn't find. Okay. So what happens? They say that for one muhurta means, does anyone know what is the time? We say, right, muhurtam, right? One muhurta is equal to how
48 minutes.
Very good. It was, I think, Jashwita, right? Very good. So one muhurtam is actually 48 minutes. Okay. So for this amount of time, no one could see anything. No one can hear anything because the tornado was so strong. Okay, this Trinavarta. So slowly after all the dust was settled, okay, they started searching and they couldn't find Krishna. Meanwhile, Trinavarta, he was taking Krishna so high, like 80 lakh miles, out of space, okay, where even the people from heaven could see Krishna. So all of them got darshan of Krishna, right? So sweet. So everyone saw Krishna, they saw their beauty, and even the Gandharvas and even the people from the Swargaloka were so happy. So now what happens? Krishna clings on to Trinavarta's neck. Okay. So now the demon, and then he starts becoming so heavy. Now he was as light as a feather. Okay, when Trinavarta first lifted him, but now he has become so heavy, as heavy, even heavier than a mountain. Now Trinavarta is choking to death. Okay, and he cannot, put the child down because he's holding on to the neck over here, Krishna. So what happens in this way? Trinavarta collapses. Okay, from very high, see, like 8 lakh miles. Okay, high, it out of space. It is out of Earth. From there, he falls down onto the Vrija. And Srila Prabhupada says the way he falls on the ground, he doesn't affect anything. There will be no houses over there. They'll be unharmed. He'll only fall on an empty land. Okay. But Trinavarta also had a past life, okay, which made him enter into Vrija. It is very similar to another story. Okay, after I recite the past time, you have to tell which story it's similar to. Okay. So what happens is Trinavarta was actually a king, okay, of the Pandu Desha. And he was a great devotee of Lord Hari. Okay, he used to do all the yajnas, yagas, chanting, and everything. But one day, what happens on the bank of river Reva? Okay, the river is called Reva. Okay, on the banks of this river, he used to enjoy. Okay, he used to just go eat whatever he wants, drink whatever he wants, be with everyone he wants. Okay, and then what happens? Durvasa Muni. Okay, he crosses them, but he doesn't pay any kind of respects. So the Muni curses that you will become a very evil-hearted one. Means you will become a demon. Okay, but after like his plead, he will say that, but don't worry, Krishna will deliver you. Okay, in Vrindavan. So he'll take a birth as Trinavarta. Okay, all understood? So I'll ask you now, which story is this similar to? This pastime of Durvasa Muni cursing, Trinavarta in his past life. It is very similar to one of the pastimes.
Shakatasura.
Shakatasura, yes, but very, very similar to one more pastime. It comes after this, but I'm pretty sure all of you will know that pastime.
Nalakuvera.
Ah, very good. Yes, Nalakuvera and Manigriva. Okay, you know, right, what happens? They will be enjoying, okay, and then Narada Muni passes and they will not cover themselves. So hence they will be cursed to be trees, right? But in this place, he was cursed to be demons, okay? Because over there, Nalakuvera and Manigriva were sons of Kubera, okay? So that's why they were granted the bodies of trees. But over here, Trinavarta was granted a demonic body, okay? So Trinavarta is attaining liberation after this Leela. Okay, all clear? We'll have a quick recap. Okay, so Trinavarta in the past life was a king called for which city? Pandu Desha, right? Pandu Desha. So he was the king of Pandu Desha. Okay, and he was cursed by which Muni?
Durvasa Muni.
Durvasa Muni. And in the bank of which river?
Reva.
Reva river. Okay, very good, very good. Okay, and Trinavarta did what? I mean, he was what demon?
Tornado.
He was a tornado, or we can call him a wind demon, right? So he was a wind demon. Okay, all clear? Let us move on to the next Leela.
Yes.
Okay. Now what happens is after this happens, okay, all of the gopis will start chastising Mother Yashoda. Okay, they start scolding. See, though Mother Yashoda was the, a queen of Gokula, you could say, okay, in terms of that, because Nanda Maharaj was leading the herd. Though she was such a senior gopi, okay, they kind of chastised Mother Yashoda because of the affection they had towards, Krishna. So as soon as Krishna came down, okay, and he was playing, everyone rushed to Trinavarta and they took Krishna on their arms and they were saying, how can you leave the child, so carelessly? But Mother Yashoda, she was able to understand that all of them are not disrespecting her, but they were just showing affection, right over here. It's just affection towards Krishna. So Nanda Maharaj, he brings all the Brahmanas and they perform a yajna, okay, and they start reciting verses from different Vedas like the Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, and Sama Veda. And also he gives a big donation, okay. Now what happens is these small pastime where Yashoda Mai sees the universal form inside Krishna's mouth, okay. So now what happens is one day all of them were playing and Balaram was playing with his friends separately and Krishna was playing by himself. So Krishna was very upset because these boys were not playing with him. So now what happens? Krishna, in the process, he starts eating dirt. Okay, and Balaram sees this. So Balaram and all the other gopas, they go and they start complaining to Yashoda Mai that Krishna is eating mud. Okay, and Yashoda Mai, see, even when Krishna used to steal butter, Yashoda Mai never said, like, she used to like leave him. But now that he's eating dirt, okay, it is very bad, right? It is not good. So she is very angry, and she's very, she's ready to shout at Krishna. So she comes and she starts shouting at Krishna, like, how can you eat mud, Krishna? I've made such yummy food at home, but you're sitting and you're eating mud, and your friends Balaram and other gopas have complained about this, that you're eating mud. And Krishna, what does he do? Immediately he'll be like, no, no, Yashoda Mai, they all are, just they want you to scold me because I'm not playing with them. I did not eat mud, and Balaram has also joined them, and he's also complaining. You please don't be upset. I'm not lying. I'm telling the truth. If you want, you can check my mouth. Okay, he's like, you can check my mouth. So actually, Yashoda Mai agrees, and she's like, okay, open your mouth. Let me check. Okay. Now, what happens is, it is the nature of a child to lie, right? Because we are very afraid that the parents might scold, right? So by mistake, we'll lie, we'll do like small lies, okay? We'll tell small lies. So like this, Krishna, actually what they say is, all of the pastimes that are performed by Krishna, after Krishna performed only, okay, all the kids have this bhava to do this. That's why we see Krishna's pastime is very related to the pastime when all of you were younger, okay? Or if the, like, or you would have seen your children, okay, do all these kind of fun pastimes, because all of this bhava comes from Krishna. Now what happens? Krishna will be like, okay, I'm opening my mouth. Okay, are you ready? So what happens? Yashoda Mai is like, yeah, you open. Okay, I'm going to catch you red-handed. Now Krishna opens. Okay, and now complete delusion happens. Now what happens is, as soon as Krishna opens his mouth, okay, now Yashoda Mai can see the whole universe. Okay, what can she see? Okay, she can see skies, mountains, island, all the planets. Okay, and she can see the moon, the stars, everything. You name it, she can see everything inside the mouth of Lord Shri Krishna. And now she will get like. And like for a second she doesn't understand what is going on. She's like, am I dreaming? What am I seeing inside Krishna's mouth? Like, is Krishna not a normal child? Like, is he some kind of like deva or something? Because I remember Gargamuni, he said, right, Gargamuni said what, that Krishna has the qualities of Lord Narayana, so maybe my son is Lord Narayana. So she'll be thinking like this, okay, and she'll not be able to take it. Because as a mother, okay, when you know you're a mother of a god, okay, she's not ready for it, you can say, okay, in this point. So then what happens is, Yashoda Mai decides that whatever she is seeing, it is Narayana. Okay, but before she realizes, okay, that this is Narayana and everything, immediately Krishna brings back everything, okay, back to normal, because he doesn't want to lose this Vatsalya Bhava. Okay, what is Vatsalya Bhava? Vatsalya means what?
Parental affection.
Parental affection, correct. There are totally 12 rasas, means 12 kind of emotions, okay, from which there are 5 primary emotions, okay. And Vatsalya is among one of those affections. So now what happens is, he wants to experience Vatsalya Bhava fully. He was not able to experience Vatsalya Bhava throughout. Even when he took the avatar of Lord Rama, he came as a normal human being, because that was the thing, right? That was the thing to be born. Because to kill Ravanasura, it had to be a normal human being. So that time also, full-fledged, Rama was not able to experience the Vatsalya Bhava, only to some extent. So that's why Krishna, we can see even from a month's baby, right? We can see all this pastimes going on. Okay. Now you tell me any one of the incidents, okay, that you like of Krishna Leela the most. What is your favorite Krishna Leela up till now, whichever you heard? One by one can say, yeah? Priyansh, you can start.
Mataji, like Damodar Leela.
You like Damodar Leela. Very good. Why do you like Damodar Leela, Riyansh?
Mataji, like
Because Krishna is naughty, or because of what? What made you like Damodar Leela? You felt the love of Krishna? Or you felt how naughty he is, right? In that Leela, right? He runs away from his mother. It reminds more of yourself, right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. Anyone else? Any favorite Leelas you have from the Krishna book?
Mataji,
Yes, Vishwajit, what is your favorite?
from the tornado, when Krishna punches the
You like
demon.
Trinavarta's demons, Leela,
Yeah.
right? Very good, very good.
I like the way Krishna will punch him.
Yeah, you like that. You like how strong such a small baby can be, right? Very good.
Yes.
Anyone else? Any favorite stories that you like of Krishna? The others can just say any story, it can be. Whatever we just read also. Madhav, you have anything like that? No? You like all stories? Yeah, Madhav likes all stories.
I actually don't even know.
Oh, this is your first time listening to Krishna Katha? Oh, very good. Good. So eventually you will come to that stage, okay, where you start liking all of this. Now we will see the story of a fruit vendor. Okay, after the story, we'll end the session. Okay. So what happens one day, a fruit woman, okay, a fruit vendor, she comes to Gokul. Okay. And then she, back in those days, there was a system called barter system. Okay. Where there is no money. You just exchange goods for goods. Okay. You give 100 grams of rice and
Mataji, I
yes,
know.
you know barter system.
So one person gives a boot and the other person says that give me a phone, so then it won't be equal.
Yeah, so that was like say what rice, okay? The other person will give a handful of grain. So the system used to go on. Now what happened one day? This fruit vendor had come into this Gokul, okay, and she was selling fruits. And Krishna, he wanted to go and buy fruits. Every time he sees Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda Mai, go and buy, okay? And he also remembered that they used to take, a lot of grains that they had in their house. And in return, they used to buy the fruits. So what happened with his tiny hands? Okay, he took how much ever grains he was able to take, okay, from his hands, and he went and he went and he gave this to the fruit vendor. Now what happened? By the time he ran off and went there and gave the fruit vendor, okay, the grains are starting to drop from his fingers, okay, and this many grains became only this much, very small, only this much. And he goes and he gives the fruit vending lady, please take this and give me fruits in return. The vendor, she was so she was so understanding, and she found Krishna so cute, so she took whatever grains Krishna had given. It was very little, okay, it was not even sufficient, and she filled his arms filled with what fruit? Do you remember what fruit she fills his arm with? With
Mangoes.
mangoes. Good. Okay, so arm full of mangoes. Krishna's arms are filled with mangoes. Now Krishna is so happy. Now the lady, before she leaves, she'll just take a look into her basket. Okay, and the basket is filled with jewelry. Okay, lot of jewels are there. So now what happens? Now what is the lesson we learned from this? See, she didn't want anything, right? She didn't want money also. He bought the best.
Whenever you serve God with bhakti, you will always get good things in return.
Ah, correct. So she didn't wish for any material money, right? She just wished only like for some grains, and she got less than that, but still she was very happy, and she was very happy to see Krishna. Okay, she felt like today I've encountered such a cute little kid who's like the moon. Okay, and she was just happy in that. And then she looks back, and all her fruits are turned into jewels. Okay, so Krishna does the most unexpected things. Okay, all clear?
Yes,
Any doubts?
Mataji.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now how many stories did we see today?
Mataji, we saw 3 stories.
Is correct. Okay, what were the stories?
What?
We saw the card demon story, right? We saw Trinavarta story. We saw the crawling story, right? The name giving ceremony story, and finally the universal form story, and also the fruit vendor story, right? We'll have a quick recap of whatever we saw today. What was the name? What was the previous birth's name of Shakatasura? Utkacha. Utkacha, good. And Utkacha was the son of?
Hiranyaksha.
Very good. And he was cursed by which Muni?
Lokas Muni.
Very good. And he said in which Manvantara will he get liberated?
Vaivasvata Manvantara.
Very good. Okay. Now, which Muni had come to give names for these two boys?
Garga Muni.
Garga Muni. And Garga Muni was the priest of which clan?
Yadu Dynasty.
Yadu dynasty. Very good. Okay. Now he had come to which, he had come to Gokul and he named the elder son as, he gave two names.
Balarama
And
Sankarshana.
And Sankarshana. Very good. And Krishna was given the name Krishna because of his
Attractive.
his complexion, and he's all attractive, and he was in the shade, which color?
Dark
blue.
Darkish blue.
Dark bluish black. Okay, so he was dark blue and black together. Okay, and then we heard some of the stories of Krishna crawling. So what was the age of Krishna when the cart demon had come?
3 months.
Good.
3
And
months.
how many days was Krishna when the naming ceremony was happening?
100 days.
Very good. Okay, and then when the Leela of Trinavarta was happening, how old was Krishna?
1 year.
1 year. He was entering 1 year. Okay, and one muhurta is equal to how many minutes?
48 minutes.
48 minutes. Very good. And how far did Trinavarta take Krishna up in the sky, outer space?
Swargaloka. Until Swargaloka.
Almost until Swargaloka, which is almost 8 lakh miles. Yeah, so he took them. So, and in previous birth, Trinavarta was who? He was the king of which place?
Pandu.
Pandu Desha, right? Okay, and he was enjoying in which river bank?
Reva.
Reva, good. And which Muni cursed him?
Durvasa Muni.
Durvasa Muni, correct. So Durvasa Muni cursed who? Trinavarta, right? Very good. Okay, now what were some of the things Yashoda Mai saw inside the mouth of Sri Krishna?
All the planets.
Good.
Islands, mountains.
It's correct. And then oceans. And then what else?
Oceans.
Yes.
And
Countries.
herself, even. Herself and Krishna.
Yeah, exactly. Good. Everyone. Yeah, right. So she saw the entire universe inside the mouth of Sri Krishna. Okay. Now, at the end, what did Mother Yashoda do? Do you think she scolded Krishna for eating mud, or did she forget?
She forgot.
She forgot. Very good. Very good. Okay. Now this fruit vendor, okay, she came and she gave fruits, and in return, how did she leave Gokula?
With a basket jewelry.
With a basket full of jewelry. Okay. Very good. So we will all see you next week. Okay. With this, we end today's session. Okay. All clear? No doubts, kids?
Yes.
All clear? All good? Very good. Okay. So we'll tell the ending prayers and end the session. Okay. Vanchakalpatarupasya kripa sindhu patirthanam pavanebhyo Ananta Koti Vaishravinda ki
Jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Bhagavatam Granth ki
Jai.
all glories to assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. We'll see you all next week. Okay, with more Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all. Thank you all for joining. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.